Welcome to the Soil Cycle Worksite and Demonstration Garden here in Missoula, Montana. I'm Therese Robbins, Garden Manager and Designer here at Soil Cycle, as well as a Certified Herbalist. What you're about to watch is a short educational video introducing you to 11 common medicinal plants. Hope you enjoy. This is Comfrey Symphytum species in the Echinacea family. And you can usually tell a Echinacea family species just from scorpioid cyme there, or some type of cyme, where it kind of curls out, or in I should say, and eventually comes flowers and buds, and it's got this little curl, and there's a bee on the flower. So comfrey, parts used medicinally would be the leaves and the flowers, and you harvest the plant, usually the aerial parts, while it's in flower. And the reason comfrey is used primarily is to heal deep injuries, and this is often a broken bone or a tendon injury or a ligament injury, and you want that deep healing that comfrey provides. And typically it's used in a salve or a liniment, and you apply directly to that area. You don't want to use it on cuts or open wounds, just because comfrey actually heals faster, but not as well as a lot of other herbs. Heals your skin faster, I should say, and that can trap infection inside. So you typically stick with comfrey for deep injuries. This is the hops plant. Humulus lupulus is the Latin name. It's in the Canabaceae family. These are the hop flowers here. You can usually tell they're pretty distinctive. They're the female flowers. And this is the hop vine, spelled with a B. And it's different than a vine in that it has no tendrils, and instead it has these stiff hairs that it can literally just keep climbing and twining on many things, which is why it's so luscious and big. Typically, the medicinal uses for hops include anxiety relief. It's very calming, relaxing. It can even be used as a sedative. So it's really wonderful for people struggling with insomnia, or even people that tend to get butterflies in their stomach and have that anxiety. It can really just help calm you down a little bit. So hops are a really wonderful medicine for that. This is Nettles, Urtica dioica. It's also in the Canabaceae family. You can tell I'm not touching it because this is stinging nettles. If I touch it, a distinguishing feature of this plant, it has tiny little hairs filled with formic acid on its stem that will just sting you a little bit. And, that can be used medicinally to bring blood flow to an area, but typically when you're hiking in the forest, you do not want to run into a stinging nettles patch. So keep in mind. And one of the reasons stinging nettles has this protection is because it is just so nutritive. It is so nutritious for animals and humans that it protects itself, because it does have these minerals and these vitamins and even protein in its leaves. So how nettles is generally used, you harvest the aerial parts before it goes to flower, and you dry them or you cook them, and that takes out the formic acid. You don't have to worry about it stinging you once it's cooked or dried. And you can either make a nutritive tea with it, which usually is steeped overnight to get the most nutrients from it, or even just add it to soup stocks, and you have a really nutritious broth just already. Yeah, it's one of my favorites just because it is so nutritious. This is Plantain Plantaga major in the Plantagenaceae family. Distinguishing features for this plant would include the venation on the leaves there, a lot of venation there and kind of crinkly, as well as these seed spikes, flower and seed spikes, and a basal rosette grows out from one area in the center. Plantain has a lot of medicinal uses. Typically, it's the leaves that are used, and in the field, they're really good as spit poultices for bug bites or something of that nature, because they're both astringent and demulcent at the same time, meaning they're going to take out, say, like a bee sting or a splinter or just the poison from a bug bite. You just chew up a leaf and slap it right on, and that can be really good healing for while you're in the field. At home, you can also dry these leaves and make a tea out of them. You can put them in soup stocks. They're really wonderful demulcent healing for your digestive system. So when you add it to food or to tea, you're getting those properties, that kind of astringent and demulcent, the kind of drawing and the healing at the same time, which is a really cool thing for a plant to do. Most plants are either one or the other. This is both. Many of you know the raspberry plant already for its delicious red fruit, but the leaves are also medicinal. This plant, Rubus idaeus, in the Rosaceae family, is commonly used as a tea herb. It's high in nutrients, very high in nutrients, very high in minerals such as manganese. So it's often good in tea blends with nettles or oat straw. As well, think of it as a women's health herb. It's commonly used to tone or to strengthen or nourish the reproductive system for women. This is Calendula officinalis in the Asteraceae family. You can typically tell what it is because it has yellow or orange flowers. Sometimes it has different colors, or maybe a variegated mix of yellow and orange. But it's a really wonderful plant to have in your garden because it self-seeds readily. You can save the seeds and you can spread them throughout, so it'll just be these patches of colors in your vegetable garden. Parts used medicinally would be the flowers. They're full of this resin, and you can tell when you're touching the flowers, you kind of get a sticky feeling on your fingers. That resin actually speeds healing of tissues in your body, either inside or out. So when you're dealing with sort of, dry, chapped skin or cuts or anything where you need that healing of your skin, calendula is the one to go to. You either make an infused oil out of it, a salve, or even kind of a juice to apply to the skin. And then you can also dry it for tea and take it internally, and it's really healing to your mucous membranes and to your whole digestive system. This is Mullein Verbascum in the Scrophulariaceae family. You can usually tell that it's a mullein by its gigantic seed stalks, flowering seed stalks here, and its leaves, which look a lot like a lung, if you want to see that it kind of looks like that. In the backcountry, some people use this as toilet paper. You can tell because it's kind of a soft, velvety leaf. But medicinally, the leaves in the first year of growth, it's a biennial, are used for lung health and for soothing coughs. So primarily the leaves are used for your lungs, which it's great that they look like them. The flowers are often used for pain relief, usually in an infused oil, and you often think of like an ear oil to soothe ear aches. Mullein flower is the primary ingredient. And even the root's medicinal too. Mullein root offers structural alignment support. So it kind of helps lubricate your vertebra and your joints, helps increase synovial fluid, just supports your body in alignment. So it's a really wonderful plant. This is Echinacea purpurea. In the Asteraceae family. It's also commonly known as purple coneflower. So you can generally tell what it is by looking for a purple coneflower. It's in a lot of ornamental gardens. The best variety to use is often just the purple coneflower. If it's red or white, it's not as medicinal, and I wouldn't use it as much as species that you know as medicinal. The great thing about Echinacea, its leaves, flowers, and root are medicinal, and it's commonly used either before you get sick, say at the sore throat stage or the tickly throat stage, and then after a sickness when you need to clear and cleanse your lymph nodes. So it's really good at strengthening lymph nodes. It's wonderful if it can actually, the Echinacea tincture can touch your mucous membranes, say for a sore throat. It can sometimes completely get rid of a sore throat before you even get sick. And then it's also used topically on bug bites, especially spider bites. It can really just make the swelling go down, help with pain, and kind of take some of that poison out. If you've ever driven down the coast in California, you might have seen the California poppy. Echinacea californica is the Latin name, and it's in the Purpureaceae family, the poppy family. This beautiful plant is, the whole aerial parts are used, actually the whole plant is used medicinally, and it's a really wonderful, gentle, safe, kind of an easy to use sedative. So it can be safe for kids to use to just kind of calm them down, give a little bit of relaxing energy, especially for people that just have a lot of anxiety or just need to slow down a little bit, take care of themselves. California poppy is really good for that. As well, it's also used for leg cramps. So you can make a liniment out of it and kind of rub it on your legs before you go to sleep, and it can often really alleviate and help leg cramps during the night. This is Yarrow Achillea millefolium in the Asteraceae family. You'll commonly find it out in the woods when you're out hiking. And one great thing to know if you're out in the back country and you run into an emergency situation where someone's bleeding, you can grab some of the yarrow leaves, which are these frilly leaves, and make sure you identify the plant correctly. And you can rub them up and you can put them on a bleeding cut and wrap it, and it's a hemostat, so it will stop the bleeding, which can be really great in emergency situations. As well, yarrow is used as a diaphoretic to help your body sweat out toxins, or if you have a fever, it's going to help bring down that fever. It's a really good one to think of for fevers. As well, it's also used as an anti-inflammatory, so you can make an infused oil with the aerial parts of yarrow, and that can bring blood and circulation to an area. It's very warming and pain relieving. This is Oats Avena sativa in the Poaceae family. You might be thinking, how do you get oatmeal from this plant? But you do, surprisingly. This is its immature stage when you can get milky oats. And the cool thing to know is that milky oat stage, that milky latex that comes out of here when you squeeze these oats is very nourishing to your nervous system. So you make a tincture out of that. It's very alcohol soluble, and it literally is feeding your nervous system, helping you deal with anxiety, helping you deal with stress, and just really wonderful for your nervous system and your nerves. So think of it for that. As well, the plant, when it's dried and cut up, the leaves and whatever oats that haven't been harvested, you can chop up this whole plant. That is commonly called oat straw, and that's a highly nutritive herb. So you can use it in tea blends where you want to get a lot of minerals out of it. It's very high in silica, as well as a number of other minerals, and you can add it to blends to get a lot of that nutrition back into your diet. If If you've enjoyed this short educational video and you're interested in learning more about sustainable gardening, medicinal plants, composting, or soil health, check out Soil Cycle Missoula.